Good morning. My name's Amanda. I love reading Reddit, and I figured, why don't I just start talking about it on here again? So I'm gonna read you an I'm at ahole. I went out to lunch with my wife this weekend, and the waitress flirted with me a bit. I was polite, but I didn't participate. At one point, my wife went to the restroom, and the waitress flirted more openly. I still did not participate and was just friendly. At the end of the meal, the waitress brought us the bill and handed me the bill directly to me. It had her phone number and said to call her. First of all, that's so inappropriate. You are working. You are working. You are waiting on a table where it's clearly a husband and wife, and you put your phone number on the bill? Come on now. You need to respect yourself. I immediately laughed and showed my wife. She did not think it was funny at all and got mad at me for it. I don't think it's funny either. I think it's a lot of audacity. First off, if you're starting a quote unquote new relationship, now I'm not saying that he is, but if you're starting a new relationship, it cannot come out, it's never going to work out the way you want it to when you go in knowing that someone is not available. It never works out, ever. I'll tell you an example for me. When I was in my early 20s, there was a guy that I liked, and he was in a relationship, and I still pursued him, and that was so wrong of me. And guess what? It was the worst experience of my life, and I really truly loved him. And I believe if I had gotten with him differently, it would have never went the way it did. I wouldn't have had all that heartbreak and all that heartache. And I gave up most of my 20s for him, which still makes me angry. So the way you get them is the way that they are during the relationship. Karma comes around. It always does. Now, I do not think she should be mad at her husband because it's not her husband's fault. He did not encourage it. He was just polite. Perhaps he could have said something like, hey, I'm with my wife. This is not appropriate. Or, hey, you're making me uncomfortable. I don't like this. Sometimes you just have to step up and say those type of things because she did feel that it was okay to put her phone number down and hand it to you directly and not the wife. That to me says she knows she's doing something wrong. I genuinely thought it was funny because I hadn't flirted or anything. My wife is now suspicious that something happened when she left the table, and that's why I got her number. I told her nothing happened, and that if I was trying to get the waitress's number, I wouldn't have laughed about it and showed her. My wife then made a comment about how I probably get other girls' numbers all the time. I don't know where this is coming from. Your wife is insecure. That's where it's coming from. I would be very upset if I was on a date, like especially with my spouse, and the waitress felt emboldened enough to give her phone number. Now, would I be upset that they were laughing about it? No, because like in the end, it's funny. It's like, hello, duh. He's not going to call you, or I'm not going to call you. I'm clearly with somebody else. I don't know. It's a shitty situation, and I'm sorry that you got put in it. My wife has some trust issues, but I've never done anything sketchy in our marriage. My wife thinks I need to apologize for getting her number and make it up to her. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. But I think that if you had been more direct, perhaps this wouldn't have happened, but it might have still happened. You can't control other people's actions. You can only control how you act to it. So maybe today was just a day where your wife felt really insecure and this made her think other things could have happened before in the past, but that's on her to work on as well. She's also not the a-hole. Okay, this one was just posted 8 minutes ago. I love when they're brand new. It says, am I the a-hole for being this harsh with the girl I was talking to? I'd been talking to this girl after we matched on dating apps. After the first few days of talking a lot, basically all day, I decided to throw out the question of if she'd want to go out for a coffee and a meal on the weekend. She said she'd like to, but to postpone for the next weekend because she had some family business going on. I said, fine. We continued talking. The vibes kept going strong. Friday next week comes along and she tells me that she can't then either. Family business again. I said, okay, and suggested that we could go out after work. I was pretty sure at this point she wasn't actually interested and was going to take the step to break it off when she said no, but she said yes. Middle of the week comes along and I ask, and she said she's too tired after work stuff and then suggests we go out on Sunday herself and tells me that she really does want to go out. This will become relevant later. The day of, she stops responding only to tell me 2 hours before the date was on that she didn't feel well. That was very disrespectful of her. At this point, I tried to gently break things off, told her that I didn't appreciate the lack of communication, and that her delaying told me she wasn't interested. Perfect. That's exactly what you should do. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. There's so many people that don't do that. They just ghost and poof. And it's okay to ghost if you feel that it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying don't do that, but this was very big of you. Good job. Good job. She apologized for telling me so late and told me that nothing was wrong. She was really just tired and she felt a bit pressured. So perhaps it's not time to be on the dating apps. Maybe you should take a break. Here comes the part I regret. Instead of telling her flat out that it's better to stop talking, I took the bait and apologized for insisting on the date. I told her that meeting in person was important to me, but that I'd give her a few days of space. I expected her to not reply after that, but she replied directly to my message about meeting in person, saying how she didn't see it that way, and chiding me for wanting to schedule a date after only a few days of talking. That she met all of her friends online and thinks you can form close connections that way. You absolutely can, but you are dating right now. You're on dating apps trying to meet people, and it's very important to see how you mesh in person. I've met a lot of people online. I've met people that I've been with online, and to me, the sooner you can meet, the better. Because you are falling for a version of somebody that you don't know 100%, right? Most of our communication is nonverbal. It's like 90%, I believe, and the rest is actual verbal. And yes, you can absolutely know somebody online before you meet them. But if you're going in a relationship, I think it's important to meet the people if you have the capability. If you don't, that's okay too. But it takes a long time to get to know somebody, and it's even longer when you can't see them in person and you can't see their actual actions itself. Um, and let's face it, we don't have all the time in the world to wait around. So if you are really wanting to be in a relationship and dating, don't lower your standards. Okay, so we stopped at she met all of her friends online and thinks you can form close connections that way, which I don't disagree with, by the way, but we live in the same town. And then apologized, saying she felt like she wasted my time. She did. She wasted your time. That's when I lost my shit a bit. The frustration from spending the whole day not knowing what was up, and frustration at myself for prying from the start. That's not prying. You were just trying to figure out what's going on. It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm fine with others not seeing meeting in real life as important as I do. I can compromise. But if she felt that way, the normal thing to do was to tell me when I first asked. Exactly. I sent her a message telling her that it was a basic courtesy to tell me that she didn't want to go instead of stringing me along by accepting, calling her a liar for telling me she did want to go out and that she didn't waste my time. I did by not having this conversation earlier. I then told her good luck and blocked her number. I didn't want to deal with the reply at work. The lie set me off the most, but now I've calmed down. I need an outside opinion on this. I worded the title as neutrally as possible so I don't give any preconceptions before the detail. Am I the a-hole for dropping that on her? No, you're not. Could you have said things a little nicer? Possibly. But no. And maybe not considered a lie, because maybe she did want to meet you, but then she got scared, or she wasn't ready, or maybe she has some self-esteem issues to work. She didn't feel good enough. Who knows? But if you can move past thinking that it was a lie and just realize that she wasn't ready at that time, and that's okay, and use this as a learning lesson that, hey, you know what? There are other people out there, and I'm capable of meeting somebody that I connect with, and this is just one little story in a whole book. Just be patient with yourself and do not lower your standards. You want to meet somebody in person quick, you put that knowledge out there, and we hope for the best. If somebody doesn't want to meet and they keep blowing you off, that's your sign that that's not your person, because your person would find a way to make it work. There's always a way to make it work. One of my biggest loves in this lifetime, she worked 3 jobs and went to college. I worked 2 jobs and I was in nursing school, but we still saw each other. So if you want it to work, it can work. There's always a way. Keep up the good work, and I'm proud of you for speaking your mind. Maybe don't call somebody a liar next time. Maybe be a little kinder. But it's all a learning lesson. You were upset. It's okay to be upset. Good luck, honey.